Welcome to episode 4 of Karuno Cast. This episode sees Jacqui and Lydia from Havens Hospices coming to talk to us about the important work that they do within the community, and we're also going to talk a little bit about the Essex Business Football League, which we've set up to try and raise funds for this very important cause. So we're going to go through to our suite now and start having a chat. So as discussed, we have got Lydia and Jacqui from Havens Hospices here today, and we're just going to talk to them a little bit about what you do at the company, what made you come to Havens. We'll start with you, Lydia. How long have you been there and what's your role?
So I've been at the hospice 6.5 years now. I'm a corporate fundraiser, so looking after the companies in Essex and London.
Okay.
Came from a completely different background.
What was your background?
Worked in the world of insolvency for
Really?
4 years, after uni, so quite different. And got affiliated with the hospice in 2012 because my mum, who was a deputy ward sister at Southend Hospital, was diagnosed with terminal cancer. So she was given 12 months to live at the time, but she did really well. She doubled her life expectancy. But for the last month of her life, we went into Fair Havens and she was looked after there. And for the last 2 weeks, my sister and I, my dad stayed there the whole time, but my sister and I had little Z beds by the side of the bed.
Right.
So it's completely different to a hospital atmosphere. And my mum knew a lot of the nurses that worked there because she worked at Southend Hospital. So we were really looked after, and it was a really tough situation at the time, and it was something that they were really there for us when we needed them. So it kind of gave me a different perspective on things, and decided to have a bit of a career change. So about 6 months later, a job came up. It all very strange how it all happened, and then it was kind of a meant to be type thing. But yeah, I've been there about 6.5 years now. So
Amazing. Amazing. I'm sorry to say that. I didn't realise that.
No,
And what about you, Jacqui? How long have you been there?
I've been there just over 7 years. Came from a corporate background as well, and Lydia and I do very similar business development corporate roles within Havens Hospice. My first connection with Havens was actually running the London Marathon for them. Got to know them as a charity, had a little look into the work that they did, which I thought was phenomenal. Subsequently had a couple of friends, same age as me, in their 40s, who had young families that died within Fair Havens, so saw a little bit of their care from the other perspective. And again, a job opportunity came up. Thought it was a fantastic, charity to work for, and brilliant, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I've always been a great advocate of Havens Hospices and love the work that you do down there. And it's just amazing to see two very similar stories of why you ended up at Havens Hospices, because you've obviously got such a passion about it because of the way that you were brought into the industry, so that's amazing. Tell me a bit about what Havens do then, and explain. I understand the role and what Havens do as a hospice, but for the people that don't know, what is it Havens do?
So Havens Hospices is made up of 3 different hospices. So we have Fair Havens Adult Hospice in Southend, and that looks after from 19 upwards. We also have Little Havens Children's Hospice, which is from 0 to 19, and that looks after children from across Essex and parts of London. And then we also have the Jay's Hospice, which came under our umbrella a few years ago now, and that is from 16 to 40. It's a hospice without walls, so we go out into the community, we provide hospice at home care as well, and we have days out called Inspire Days, where young people get to know each other that are in a similar situation. They might go to the theatre, seaside, and do something that they can kind of form different friendships with as well. So we are we have to raise about £6.6 million a year to keep the hospices open.
We like to say that quite quickly though.
So it's a lot of money. We receive very, very limited government funding. So without the
Why is that?
It's just...
It is. I mean, the people that we look after, we're taking out of hospitals, or we're giving additional services. But without our care, I'm not sure where they would be. And that money is primarily raised from the community, so the business in the community, the personal people in the community, the kind-hearted people of the Southend and Greater Essex Borough.
You generally do meet that target, I'm guessing, because
it can be very touch and go, and there are obviously times where you do think, this month's not been great.
Yeah.
But we are very fortunate with the supporters that we have.
And so, so most of that, the bulk of that money, is that raised locally?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Local businesses around Southend, around the Essex area, around.
Yeah.
And who's your bigger advocates of that? Is it? Or is that a bit? Not such a liberty to disclose.
Well, we have actually got a new project that's just started. So we're building a new adult hospice in Southend.
Yeah.
It's a £17.5 million project.
This is the one down there.
Just by Priory Park. So just opposite there. So we're down to the last 350,000 that we've got to raise now. But we have had several companies within the area sponsor different rooms within the hospice. So for example, KeyMed, for example, are sponsoring the reception area and another element of the new Fair Havens. And then also Ayres and Crooks and BTMK are funding our inpatient lounge.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And I think it is important for people to see the work that Havens Hospices do. So we're going to go to a short video showing exactly the task that these ladies have and the reason that it's for.
Don't ever say
I'm Ava's mum. Ava's nearly 7 and we've been coming to Little Havens since the beginning of 2010.
The stars can be so blinding when
Immediately, all my fears about the kind of place it would be were eradicated within minutes. I expected it to be sad and there to be lots of really sick, poorly children with parents crying and it to be a really sad place, but we came into laughter and that's generally what we have every time we're here. It's amazing. It's not about dying. What we've come to see is Little Havens is for us, it's about living. It gives her a life. The stuff that they've got here, it's like Disneyland for Ava. The music therapy, the sensory room, the swimming, all the things that she loves to do are here at her fingertips. It's Ava's world. A comforting thing for us since we've come in here is being able to see that actually life does go on. It does go on. And the people here are like a comfort blanket. They care for her how we would care for her. And that's the difference between here and a hospital. That they see Ava for the beautiful little girl that she is, not the medical file. I dread to think where we would be without Little Havens, without this family here. We couldn't keep going without them. We wouldn't be a family because we had fallen apart before we came here. And Little Havens put you back together and dust you down and give you the energy to carry on. And that's what Little Havens does. It gives us magical moments and memories. And we'll have those forever.
Why are you building the new hospice then? What has been the reasoning behind that, or is it?
Well, the reason is the building that we currently occupy just off of Chalkwell Avenue is not fit for purpose. It was originally 2 houses and a hotel. There's no lift in there, so we can't get people upstairs. There's no proper...
Must have some really sort of like strong security and help.
Yeah, you can think of all the practicalities of a hospice and not having a lift. So and also we don't have the nurses don't have the proper rooms that they need for their drug cabinets and their linen and all the day-to-day things. Nothing was built for a hospice, and we have really narrow corridors, so you can't get a wheelchair down there. So the care is deemed as
Have you actually
outstanding.
managed so far with you?
You can get a wheelchair.
Just about.
Yeah. It's like,
very narrow,
yeah,
and there's a lot of lifting involved, which isn't ideal. So
I understand the pains of I remember when Southend United the lift used to break, and the only time it seemed to break was if we had a disabled person
Yeah.
watching one of the games, and
Yeah.
every time it'll be normal, be
Worst
fine
time.
working the rest of the time, and yeah, the
Yeah.
pain of trying to get them down the stairs and such as well. Not just for us, but for them as well. So yeah, if
Yeah.
it's not fit for purpose.
No, it's not. You know, care is outstanding, and the building by our governing body, the CQC, has been deemed as not, you know, not fit for purpose. So that's the main reason. But the other thing is we only have 10 bedrooms there.
Okay.
And the sad fact is that every month we're turning away about 11 families and saying we can't help their loved one. So that is a real shame for our Southend area, that we can't help everybody that needs our care.
100%.
So that's one of the main driving focuses, is to create a new hospice. We will double the capacity.
Okay.
We will have a purpose-built building and all the efficiencies that go with that, and the lovely surroundings. Everyone will have their own room. It will have the same lovely feel that we have at Fair Havens now, a very comfortable feel, not all the sort of the wiring and the technology. It will be there, but it will be hidden. People will have control over their space, the lighting, the heating, the sound in there. They can open their own curtains, close them, they can go outside. You know, it's taking control. They can take control over their rooms. So the rooms that are going into the new hospice are going to be amazing.
I bet there's been some additional costs in raising funds this year, though, with the project over the past couple of years. I'd say. So how much additional have you had to raise compared to your 6.6 target?
So it's a £17.5 million project. We're down to the last 350,000 now.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
But it will make a huge difference. Like Jacqui said, we're turning away on average 11 people a month from the hospice. All the new rooms will be, of the 16 beds, they'll all be able to go out into the garden. They can even go out on the beds if they want. They'll have their own garden area. We will have our own bistro, canteen area. So it will really help people, especially in an end-of-life situation where their families and they want to go out and they want to get a breather and have a bite to eat, but they're not able to because they're worried about getting a phone call. They can go and have something to eat, have a little bit of chill out time, and know that they're not far away. There'll also be a family room within the new hospice, so the family room will be really good if you've got family that come in from across the country, and they can come and stay. There was an ensuite in there as well.
Oh, brilliant.
So that will be fantastic. And then the other great thing that we're going to have is we're going to have a salon, a beauty salon.
Brilliant.
So for people that are having chemotherapy within the community, if they're a bit apprehensive about going back to see their hairdresser, they can come and see our hairdresser, get their hair done. Chemotherapy isn't great on the nails either, so they can get their nails done, have reflexology, massage. So it's really going to be...
Because I think one of the things that they do say about dealing with illnesses such as that positivity is such an important factor within
Still feeling
that.
themselves,
Yeah,
and feeling good about themselves.
100%. So something like that, that is amazing.
And then we also have a day hospice, which will also be moving over. So that's people come up to 12 weeks to get their pain medication right. So they'll come one day or 1 day a week basically there. And they get to form friendships and get to speak to different people that are in a similar situation as themselves, and then get to know Havens going forward. Exactly.
Yeah, it's a brilliant concept. I mean, one thing I've always found with you guys at Havens is the interesting ways in which you conjure up to raise funds. So I've always loved seeing something like that. I mean, obviously the marathon, which I've now signed myself.
Well done, you.
Not much of a runner either. So and we'll go on to the reasons of that shortly. But like the gin tasting and such that you do, the Santa run, the abseiling, the
everything we can think of.
Everything. What would you say is your best seller in that sense of the events that you do you think? Or the ones that tend to be more successful, the ones that are most popular?
I mean, the half marathon is
that's a good one.
Is that the Chelmsford?
Is that in Southend?
Southend
half
marathon,
and that's been going. I think it's coming up to 25 years next year.
Yeah.
So that is something that's been very long standing, and they get a lot of people that run that. So you get your fit bods.
Yeah.
And next year we
Is there a lot of competition within it? Is there like the people that go regularly every year that want?
Yeah, there are, and sometimes you get groups from companies, which is really good. So you get a little bit of competition, don't you, between the company, you know?
Yeah, you've got a bit of friendly
Who's
competition.
going to run the fastest race
Yeah.
or wear the silliest costume?
I'm
or
not on the
whatever.
marathon, by the way. I say if I complete that within 5 hours, that is my ultimate dream goal, to be able to do that.
But then we try to cater for everything, don't we? So as Lydia said, you know, you've got the FIDBOD, you've got the challenges, and then, you know, the other week we were doing networking, gin tasting.
Oh, no, I'm so sorry I missed that. So sorry I needed to get to that as
And then we've
well.
got Christmas parties, haven't we,
Yeah.
at Tilbury at the...
And then you've got the Santa run, haven't you, as
we
well?
do.
Yeah, family
Yeah.
events.
So we've got Race for Business as well next year, so that'll
Okay.
be taking place probably in July. The date's to be confirmed next month, but it's a 3.5 mile race through Chelmsford.
Yeah.
We're hoping to bring lots of different companies from
Okay.
across
Really good.
Essex. So
Okay.
it'll be, people can get sponsored, they can get dressed up, and we're hoping to have quite a big event, after party event afterwards as well. So it should be quite
Wicked.
good fun.
Very competitive. All
Good.
in their company T-shirts.
Got to do. You've
Yeah.
got to. And
Yeah.
the one I've seen like lots of pictures of the probably most beautifully decorated hares I've ever seen in
yeah.
my life. What is this hares?
That's our art trail that's coming to Southend next year for the
Okay.
peak season, sort of that summertime kids' holidays. Wild in Art is the company that have done it, and they have gone around the world creating different art trails, typically animals, different structures.
Yeah.
We've chosen hares because we have a couple of bronze boxing hares at Little Havens that were donated to us,
Okay.
and also it's an animal that's endangered and within the Essex area, so that's why we chose the hares.
Okay.
They look very majestic. They all are.
That's your new word of the day. Majestic
Exactly.
word of the day. Majestic.
They have all been decorated by artists to a very high standard, and at the moment we've been looking for companies to sponsor them, part of which they'll have their logo and their branding on them, and an opportunity to drive a huge footfall of the visitors through to that company website as well. And there's a lot of promotional activity within our main partners, which are the Echo and the radio stations. A lot of big companies on board with us already. Yeah,
exactly.
And I implore everybody to go and take a look. We will be putting some links below within this video and within the comments section, so there will be links on the various events that Havens Hospices run. If you are interested in getting involved, have a look through their website and contact Jacqui and Lydia.
Let's change it.
How's the Essex Business Football League going, James?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. I think we were a bit ambitious to start with the Essex Business Football League. We've changed some elements of it now. So we obviously set that up to aid Havens Hospices, and a small percentage obviously going to the British Heart Foundation as well, which generally, for those that don't know, it's a competition that's for Essex businesses, or businesses around Essex, to join in a football tournament that'll run over 6 games. That will play in a league format. 6 groups of 4. The top 2 teams of each group will go to a final competition that's going to be held in June next year. I think when we initially tried to do this within a couple of months, it was a bit ambitious, so we've extended that to January. I'll put all the details for the Essex Business Football League, a link to our website where you can find all the information from that, but it will be great fun, so please get involved. So yeah, we've reduced the size of the competition a little, and I think one of the main stickling points as well was, other than the £300 entry, which isn't a massive amount, we were also asking companies to commit to £1,000 of fundraising. So we've reduced that now, and it's at £500, which is, you don't have to commit to raising the £500, it's more of a target. And I think the way that we'll drive competition throughout it, for people to raise more funds, is the fact that the top 4 fundraising teams get an automatic buy into the final tournament. So it's not just the teams that also do the best with the ringers and such that I imagine there will be in some teams. So there will be ours. All our teams are techs. I mean, there are some good footballers to be fair. So yeah, the incentive that the top 4 fundraising teams will automatically get a buy-in despite their football skill or ability within the competition. I think is a good way. I mean, with the fundraising, you're the perfect people to talk to about that. Well, how easy do you think it will be for companies to raise that 500?
Depends what people's interests are, but it's really easy to just raise a few £100. I mean, from a raffle in the office around Christmas time, you know, finding out who the star bakers are in the company. Everyone else gets
yeah, exactly. If Noel Fielding turns up, I'm starting to
yeah, and everyone else gets to eat it, so it's a win-win situation. Quizzes, you know, everyone loves a quiz. You know, a Friday quiz, that sort of thing. Yeah, and darts competitions, karaoke, you name it. With, you know, whatever the interest is within the workplace, you can create an event around it.
Yeah, and because there's a lot of fun that's around it as well.
Yeah.
So we love doing events like that, and especially to the fact that it's raising money for such brilliant causes as well. It's awesome, and it should be easily done. I think I worked it out when we were first talking about the 1,000 target.
Yeah.
And it was based on a company of 20 staff. If they just did a dress down day and everybody paid £1 from now until when the competition, the final competition was going to be, and there was 600 quid. So it could be easy.
So what made you think about doing the Essex Business Football League in the first place?
I've always had an interest within football.
Yeah.
And the idea first came around with the World Cup on Sea event. As we work quite closely with Andrew and the team at AJ Chambers. And I mentioned about doing a year-long competition because I thought there was a gap in the market for that.
Definitely.
There's plenty of companies that love doing a 5-side league and are parts of 5-side leagues around Southend, so I thought it would be quite easy to raise interest within it, and for obviously the reasons that it's going towards a good cause. One of the main reasons, I suppose, selfishly as well, is I love football, and for health and fitness. I've always been a person that fluctuates in weight. So I think I was 19 stone 8 at my biggest, and I do not carry weight well. It's literally moobs, ripple, and an arse I think Beyonce would have been proud of. But or Nicki Minaj, So, and I'm horrendous at going to the gym, but I always feel better obviously when I'm healthier. But I need a motivation to be able to go and do that. And I've always liked Havens Hospices and always have tried to support you where I can. And I thought there is a gap where we can raise a football tournament. It promotes health and well-being.
Definitely.
It also promotes networking between the companies as well. So you talk to companies. I mean, we've done some business before where we've just had a 5-side game against somebody and got to know them, and that's the first barrier, isn't it? Getting to know your client or potential client. So it was great for networking purposes as well. So yeah, I just saw an all-round goal that I thought it would complement it perfectly, doing a football tournament for that my own health and well-being as well.
That's brilliant.
But the fact that I'm doing a boxing match, a cage fight, looking at doing one of the bungee jumps and hopefully a parachute jump as well is probably bitten off a bit more I can do. and finishing with the London Marathon as well. The main problem, I'm just going to be like that. Oh God.
But health and well-being is just such an important thing now, isn't it, within the workplace? And I think it's, you know, coming together as a football team as well is a leveller within the office as well. And it's getting there, you're getting people to exercise, feel better about themselves, a bit of competition.
Friendly competition.
And a bit of networking as well. So it's just a great idea that you've come up with that's ticked so many different boxes, and it's just be great if a lot, you know, companies can get behind this and get involved.
I'm hoping so. Yeah. We're probably going to need, like I say, maybe on the refereeing front as well, so like corporate volunteers. Yeah. I mean, do you struggle finding corporate? I mean,
We do, but we've got a fantastic opportunity down mainly at Little Havens at the moment, where a lot of corporates from all over the county and from London as well come in and volunteer with us for the day. Fair. So a lot of companies have that corporate social responsibility side of things that they need to do, which is good for them, good for their companies.
Time as opposed to
time, just their time. And again, another example of where people come together and work together in a different way. You know, the bosses are working with people that they don't perhaps come across, so you get to know your colleagues a bit better, but you also feel that you're doing something good and you're getting out in the fresh air, and it's generally gardening, isn't it, or something quite physical.
Well, it's March till November, so we have normally about between 4 and 12 people in a group at a time come down to Little Havens at 9 o'clock in the morning, be greeted by one of us, and then you'll be allocated a team leader throughout the day, and they'll give you your jobs. So you'll be doing things like gardening, painting, maintenance work, things like that.
Yeah.
And you tend to finish at about 3 o'clock, but as Jacqui says, it's great for team building. Really
so do you have
good for
companies
staff
as like as a
morale.
whole doing it, sending a full team
Yes.
down to?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
brilliant.
mean, it varies in numbers. This morning I was down at Little Havens and we had 10 come from NatWest Corporate in London,
Yeah.
and they were there, and this morning they are dealing with tidying the gardens at Little Havens, and they are painting.
Brilliant.
So, yeah.
But then we've got those opportunities, but especially coming up to Christmas now, we've got Christmas present wrapping in Lakeside.
Okay.
We've got a lot of bag packing opportunities, and also bucket collections like in Eastgate Shopping Centre.
Yeah.
So any types of volunteering that people want to do, we're always crying out for them.
Okay.
So yeah.
And where can you find information on that?
If they get in contact with volunteer services at Havens Hospices, or they come through to us,
Okay, yeah.
then we'd be more than happy to help.
I'll put all those details within a link within the comments of this section, so if anybody is interested in helping out Havens Hospices within donating staff members for volunteering, then please get in touch.
Brilliant.
Great. Well, thank you both for coming down.
You're very welcome.
It's been a brilliant podcast once again. It's great to get to know more about Havens Hospices and the work that you guys do. And we thank you very much.
Oh,
Great
thank
to
you.
see you.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. And we will see you on this. We'll be releasing this tomorrow, so the 1st of November. Happy Halloween, everyone. By the way, it's one of my favourite times of year, is Halloween.
We didn't have our devil horns on.
We should have done
devil horns.
that. We could just get the fancy dress out.
Not again, not again.
Brilliant. Brilliant. So yes, happy Halloween, everyone. We'll be releasing this tomorrow as our episode 4 of Kawuno Cast with Jacqui and Lydia from Havens Hospices. We'll see you soon.